Hi everyone, so welcome back to my channel. So as promised, I'm going to be showing you a couple of looks with the Haken Henry Fuego palette. I do still plan on doing the other palette that came out, the Sweet Tooth, or the other one that I obviously got in my mystery box. But this is the one that honestly excited me the most, so I figured we would play with it. In my eyebrows, I do have a mixture. I do still feel like they look identical. I know I said in my video of Fuego and Diablito in my eyebrows. So yeah, anyways, so starting off the video, I already have my eyelids primed with the MAC Paint Pot in Pink Charlie. I do feel like this base works really well for these eyeshadows. How I'm going to do the makeup look is similar to, or copy, whatever, if Annette's Makeup Corner, where she does, I'm not going to do as many looks, she normally does, I think, 10. I'm just going to do 2, so 1 on each side. To just kind of show you a little bit what this palette can do. I still feel like, in my opinion, this palette does not have enough deepening shades to me. I feel like the shades are very beautiful, but I personally will probably be using them with other products. But enough rambling, let's get started. So we're going to start with this eye first. I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Inferno, which is like the darkest raspberry-ish shade to me. And I'm just going to use, a Morphe M433 brush. And I'm just going to apply that to my crease. The first look we're going to do is kind of I'm calling it like a Valentine's-y. And I know we are far from Valentine's Day, but I feel like if you kind of want that pretty, soft kind of look, this is a really nice look for it. One thing I did not do earlier, and I'm kind of tempted to do it, so I might as well just show you, is I like to take the, a white eyeshadow, any kind of highlight shade. This palette does not offer that. I'm using Sugar Pills Taco. And I really like to just take the shade just on a fluffy brush, so the same one that we're already using. And I'm just going to kind of dust that around my brow bone. Why I like to do this is, at least for myself, I notice it makes it really a lot easier when I'm blending shades and I worry to go too high, especially being like as pale as I am. I feel like if I go too high with certain shades, it just looks really muddy, and it looks terrible. So it's always the last thing that I want. Wipe off my brush again, and I want to go just on top of that. I'm going to either go in with Fuego or Diablito. Again, to me, it really doesn't matter which shade you use. So just kind of go right on top, right on the edge, and just soften it. I do wish this palette had a pink matte, just to kind of help to soften these shades, but we will make it work. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead again, clean off my brush, and just soften the edge. I'm going to blend into the inner corner as well a little bit. So, I can't really decide if I want to deepen up, so we're just going to stop for where we are right now. I'm going to grab another brush. This is a Morphe M456. It's like a blendy type brush, but just a little more flat. And I'm going to dip into the shade Ignatius, I believe it's called. It's like a shimmery kind of pink. It definitely has a nice warm richness underneath, so I'm just going to apply that to my lid. And I think, yeah, you can definitely see that. Hopefully it reads well on camera. It's like, it's very warm. And the metallic in this is really pretty. I don't necessarily feel like it needs a setting spray or water or anything to get the fullest potential. I think it's pretty much there. I'm just gonna dip into a little bit more and blend it into the inner corner of my eye. And give a little shimmer. Okay, so before I deepen up anything else. My normal trick that I like to do, take a concealer and clean up the edge. You can always use a wipe or as well, or anything like that, just to clean up the edge. I would definitely use a makeup remover if I had a lot of blending out, but it's not that bad. So we'll just use this concealer if you're curious, L'Oreal Infallible. But like I said, I feel like pretty much any concealer works. It's not, at least in this case, it's not necessary for something really good. I mean, the better the coverage obviously is nice. But yeah. And I do feel like that looks, you know, pretty good. I might go back in a little bit more. A smaller brush. So let's grab the Morphe M506 brush. Just a little bit more of Inferno. Just to try to deepen that. And then I'm going to take our bigger blendy brush, the M433 brush, and just soften that edge. So I feel pretty good about this aside. I'm just going to go ahead and curl, apply some mascara, and then we'll be right back for the second side. Alright, and we're back, so let's jump on to the other side. What I'm really planning for this side is to play around a bit more with the warmer shades in this palette, kind of the yellows. Like this row is super pretty to me. So let's go ahead and get started with this side. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the shade Fuego on my Morphe M506 brush and just start putting that into the crease. Next, directly on top of that, I'm going to take the shade Blazon. I don't know why on camera this shows up a lot darker than I feel like in real life it is. It's a super neon orange. It's so pretty. I'm going to basically put that almost identically right on top of the red because I want to use the green in this palette. I don't want it to look too red. It still doesn't be red, don't get me wrong, but I just don't want it to be too overwhelming. Next, I want to dip into the yellow shade called Soul with my Morphe M456 brush and just apply this right along the edges of the orange and red. I really like this yellow. It is so bright. Probably one of the best yellows that I have seen and or found. It's just applying like a dream. So, amazing job there, Hank and Henry. I really like that. So next, I'm just going to grab my Morphe M433 brush, and I'm just going to kind of blend everything out. Any soft edges. This palette, honestly, is working really great. Are these colors? Hello, do we not see how just seamless of a blend they did? Yes, obviously when you go in the range of like the same color family, it blends better, but I'm noticing they just, I don't know. This formula is just super good. Alright, so after that, it's blended out pretty much to my liking. I don't think perfect, whatever. I'm going to grab the shade Jalapeno with the Morphe M166, just a flat shader brush. I'm just going to pack that onto the lid. I don't feel like this shade needs a glitter adhesive or anything. It doesn't, the fallout is not bad. But again, it's up to you. I think if you want to, you go right ahead and use one, but I feel like it applies quite easily, which I really like. Okay, so next I'm going to go ahead and do what I did on this side, is use concealer just to clean up the edge and see if I need to add more depth or anything like that. So let me go and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so after doing that, I do want to add just a little more depth. It's not bad, it probably really doesn't need it. But I am just going to go in a little bit more with Fuego and put that into the crease. With, the M506 brush again, a little detail brush. I feel like this just looks really it's interesting. Like, I feel like I wouldn't think it would go together, but I don't hate it. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and blend. So, repicking up the Morphe M433 brush, I'm just going to soften the Fuego shade. and dip into a little bit of concealer because why not? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and apply some mascara, curl my lashes again, and I'll be right back for my final thoughts of this palette. Alright, so we have come to the end of our video for the lovely Hank and Henry Fuego palette. Again, this is what the lovely color range looks like. Honestly, I'm very impressed. I really like this palette a lot. I really like a lot of the colors. Again, as I mentioned before, I do feel like this is a palette that you may want to bring in other colors to play around with, especially depending again on your skill level, or just if you want to use them all together. You know, I see this yellow or orange or whatever. If you had, you know, a more neutral kind of look, you can add that little pop of color in there, and it's going to be great. One thing I kind of want to start doing with these palettes is, or any of my reviews, is kind of rating it of ease of use. And honestly, I do feel like this is beginner friendly in my opinion. None of the pigments to me, you know, did I feel like I really had to work hard to get them to work. I had to blend hard to get them to work. None of that. So honestly, I would say A+ on this. Alright guys, that is pretty much it for the video. I truly hope that you enjoyed this little tutorial that I did today. Hopefully it was helpful or whatever, you know, if you want to try out some makeup looks, or at least hopefully you just enjoyed hanging out with me for this little adventure. Please feel free to subscribe, like, leave me a comment. I would really appreciate it as I'm trying to build this channel. And I will see you guys on my next video. Okay, bye.